to have that book published by the end of the year. We are looking next year. Some of the couple of big projects we're looking to roll out are standardization within and certification within the MMA industry. So areas like gyms, MMA gyms, promotions, management companies, looking to develop best practices and standards, and find only those companies that work in the MMA industry that want to adhere to the highest levels of standards that we come up with, with the help of some very successfully run organizations. Currently, we'll put together what we think is a high enough bar that deserves our stamp of approval. So that's a program we're excited about.
So you're looking to make a governing body over mixed martial arts, if possible.
You know what?
In a way, it may build to
absolutely,
that.
Lou. Okay. Absolutely, Lou. Whether it's an official governing body or whether it's a body that just is doing so much right and good for the sport that people can't help but take notice and do something with us. Absolutely.
Well, kind of like, you have baseball, you have a governing body. Football, you have a governing body. They set the standards for what you can and can't do. You do have state legislation that puts their own stuff there, but, basically their things are more geared towards boxing and even kickboxing events, but not so much mixed martial arts, especially in New York. I know, because I used to go to athletic commission all the time and then do all my stuff, for wrestling and boxing. So, it's a procedure, but I think that some of the states, their way of looking at it or handling it is ancient.
Oh, absolutely. At best, it's ill-informed. More often than not, certainly outdated, obsolete, for sure. And so at the very least, we're going to have something that's voluntary. People will decide that, I want to adhere to those standards because I want to differentiate myself. I want to be better than the MMA gym down the street, or we want all the MMA gyms to be as good. And I mean, that would certainly be the ideal, where they're all adhering to the best practices, to the best safety standards, best training standards, to so on and so forth. And that's our goal. And if it becomes something that becomes more official down the road than we intend initially, fantastic, because it's not really about us. It's just about helping the sport be stronger, be more legitimized, be more mainstream in a good way, and just accepted more universally. So that's something we're doing there. We are planning to develop a benevolence fund. It may or may not be called that, but a fund where we're going to create this charitable fund that's sort of out of our reach, for appearance's sake, and then put it up there so that people can contribute to it if they want. If they say they love mixed martial arts, as so many do, but you want to help somehow, well, here's a way. You could send a check, you could do a weekly payroll deduction, and the majority of that money would go towards helping injured fighters.
See, that is something very interesting, because although you have mixed martial artists that then when they go fight, they do have insurance. I know it's pretty expensive. But what happens, they get hurt. I know with pro wrestling, your insurance is your insurance. You get hurt, I mean, you're done. You can't get in the ring. You're done. You can't fight anymore. You can't wrestle anymore. You are over. You're unless you have some background in something or have a backstop as far as making money, or unless you're like a Joe Theismann that has some finance background, it's going to be difficult for you to earn a living. And especially if you're ill and you get sick, and it happens all the time. I mean, you have guys now that are going down that road, whether it be mixed martial arts or pro wrestling. So I think something like that is very interesting. Too bad they, I'm just biased when it comes to wrestling because you see a lot of crap that goes on. But too bad they don't have anything like that. But I think they are developing something like that. But it's good that you are, and I'll just let you continue to talk about it. I just wanted to interject because I am the host.
I appreciate that.
I am the host, so there.
Well, and absolutely, it's your show and your mic. But seriously, there's such a lack. There's such a gaping hole in this part of the sport. I love the sport. So many people love the sport, and they'll say it and they'll talk about it. And if they hear in the news that a fighter in the Midwest, was going for a takedown, got tangled up, landed on his head, and is now paralyzed, they'll if they hear that, because it's not generally the headlines, they'll feel badly. Well, gee, that's a shame. Well, I'd like people to have an opportunity to do more than just feel badly. I'd like them to be able to help the poor guy who's in the hospital, paralyzed, whose livelihood was our passion, and doesn't have the insurance that some of us maybe have, and doesn't have the ability to pay the bills. And so now his livelihood is obviously in dire straits, as well as his life in general, not just physically, but to have a life of bill collectors, medical collections. I mean, who wants that? And if we can say, yeah, I love the sport, I love it so much that I want to support the guys who do it, and here's a way, and it doesn't have to be painful. I mean, if tens, hundreds of thousands of people say, yeah, I love the sport, here's $10, here's $20, or, when I was my 12 years in the Army, I probably gave to United Way and other charities all the time, just through payroll deduction, $3, $5 a week. It never hurts. It never hurt me, but hopefully it helped somebody. Right. And that's the same idea. So we're really excited about that. That may be, out of everything we do, ultimately perhaps the best thing that we do. But we do think we have a lot of great things going on.
Yeah, well, I think that is fantastic. I mean, you can even build that to a point that you can have corporations actually offer that to their employees if they wanted to go and donate something or have a deduction out of their paycheck every week.
Yes, that is my goal with that, and it's just a simple matter of saying, listen, you love the sport, right? You said you love. Well, put some money where your mouth is. It's not money that's going to me. I won't have any access to it. It's only going to better the fighters' lives, the industry. If you really mean what you say, here's an opportunity for you to act on that. And right, so $3, $5 a week, $20 check, whatever it is, it's all going to add up, and it's going to help somebody. And I'm not naive. Maybe sometimes I am, but I don't think I'm naive in this. And I feel like I can't help everybody with this. I never would think that I could. But what if I can help one person through this, or 5 people through this? So it won't be everybody necessarily that gets help. But so what? If maybe other people say, hey, we could do something else to help. And I think just our goal is really energizing people, energizing the fan base, energizing the fighters, the promoters, the managers to a higher level, to higher standards, to more involvement, greater passion. That's really what we're trying to do. Some other things that we've got going on, we're planning an MMA cruise for towards the end of next year. Everyone loves to cruise that ever has, I imagine. I love it. And people that haven't, it's an incredible way to spend a vacation. And we're planning to, see how things go, but whether it's 1, 2, maybe 3 fighters that we bring out on a cruise for 4 days or a week, and whatever block of membership we can reasonably accommodate, whether it's 200, 300, 400 or something like that, and we go out, and who doesn't want to rub shoulders with some fighters that they know of, for a week, and eat dinner and pull slot machines and roll on the mats and train, take seminars and classes from them. And so we're really excited about putting that together. So that's another project that we're working on. Here's some other relating back to the site, but again beyond the scope of the site. Some things that we're doing are MMA awards. We've put a writers guild together, and we've got maybe 12, 15 really top-notch writers from around the industry that write for SureDog, the website, for Fight Magazine, for a bunch of other websites as well. Really great guys who are willing to work with us. They'll contribute a couple exclusive pieces a year to our site. So so there is some really cool stuff at the site besides the best news from around. We're going to, continue to pull it together. Some rankings we'll pull together for everybody. But then some articles that they won't find anywhere else because they're written for us. And these writers, though, we're going to be using them to do MMA awards, annual MMA awards. Nobody does that, and the sport deserves it.
Okay.
So again, it's really not about us and what we're doing, but it's just the sport. Why doesn't it deserve to have awards? The ESPYs are out there, and for the last 2 years, they've nominated a couple of MMA fighters, but they never stand a chance against the big boxers. GSP and Lyoto Machida were nominated this year as Fighter of the Year, but of course Pacquiao won it, and good for Pacquiao. He's a fantastic boxer. I think he's awesome. But anyway, the MMA fighters in the sport deserve their own platform.